Michael Jackson stood in a hospital room at 2:47 a.m., and what he said to the dying child in front of him would stay buried for 15 years. But wait. This was 3 days before his death. How did nobody know about this? The 22nd of June 2009. Los Angeles, Cedars, Sinai Medical Center. Michael Jackson had 72 hours left to live. He didn't know that. Or did he? But that is not even the shocking part. The real story starts with a phone call. Nobody was supposed to hear. Let me tell you. The 22nd of June 2009, 11:38 p.m., Dr. Sarah Mitchell was finishing her night shift in the pediatric oncology ward, room 447. A 12-year-old boy named David Chen, stage 4 leukemia, 2 weeks to live, maybe less. David's parents had gone home, too exhausted, too broken. The boy was alone. Sarah checked his vitals. Stable for now. Then her phone buzzed private number. She almost didn't answer. But something made her pick up. A voice, quiet, strained. The voice said 6 words that changed everything. Michael Jackson wanted to visit tonight. Right now, room 447. Sarah's hands started shaking. This was impossible. Michael Jackson didn't make hospital visits at midnight. Michael Jackson was preparing for his This Is It tour in London, 50 sold-out shows. Starting in 3 weeks, the voice on the phone was his assistant. Or bodyguard. Sarah couldn't tell. 20 minutes later, 3 black SUVs pulled into the underground parking garage. No press, no cameras, no security announcement. Michael Jackson walked through the service entrance, wearing a black surgical mask, hoodie pulled low, sunglasses at midnight. Sarah met him at the elevator. His hands were trembling. His eyes looked hollow, sick. He walked straight to room 447. David Chen was awake, staring at the ceiling. He'd given up weeks ago, stopped talking to doctors, stopped asking when he could go home. Michael Jackson walked in, closed the door behind him. Sarah watched through the window. Hospital policy, she had to stay close, but she couldn't hear anything. The room was soundproof for 47 minutes. Michael Jackson sat next to that dying boy, and nobody knows what was said, except David. Fast forward. The 25th of June, 2009, 2:26 p.m., breaking news. Michael Jackson dead at 50. The world stopped. Sarah Mitchell saw it on the hospital television. She dropped her coffee, ran to room 447. David Chen was sitting up in bed, crying, holding something in his hand. A letter. Sealed envelope, Michael Jackson's handwriting on the front. David, when I am gone, you'll know I was telling the truth. MJ. Sarah tried to take it. David pulled it away, he whispered. 3 words that made Sarah's blood run cold. They killed him. Sarah called hospital administration, then hospital security, then the police. The police came, interviewed David, read the letter. Then they sealed the file, classified. No explanation. David's parents were told to keep quiet for his safety. For their safety, here is the thing. David Chen didn't die 2 weeks later. He lived against every medical prediction. His leukemia went into remission. The doctors called it a miracle. But David knew the truth. Michael Jackson had told him something that kept him alive, something he couldn't tell anyone. For 15 years. David grew up, graduated high school, went to college, became a documentary filmmaker. Every year on the 25th of June, he would visit Michael Jackson's grave, alone, no cameras. He would stand there, silent, holding that letter. People noticed. Fans started recognizing him, posting photos online. Who is this guy? Why does he visit every year? Nobody knew. Until 3 weeks ago. April 2024. David Chen is now 27 years old, living in New York, working on a documentary about children's hospitals. He was editing footage when his phone rang. A lawyer representing the Michael Jackson estate. They had found something, sealed documents. From 2009, hospital records, security footage. The footage from the 22nd of June, the night Michael visited David, for 15 years. Nobody knew it existed. The estate wanted David's permission to release it. David said yes, but only if he could tell his story first. Last week, David Chen posted a video, 18 minutes long, filmed in his apartment. The title, What Michael Jackson Told Me 3 Days Before He Died. The video opens with David holding the letter. The same envelope from 2009. His hands are shaking, just like Sarah Mitchell's hands 15 years ago. He opens the letter on camera for the first time in front of the world. The letter is 4 pages. Handwritten Michael Jackson's distinctive script. David reads it out loud. His voice cracks multiple times. The letter says things nobody expected. Michael Jackson knew he was in danger. He knew people wanted him gone, not because of allegations, not because of money. Because of what he knew, the letter mentions names, powerful people, industry executives, lawyers, doctors, people who controlled everything, who owned everything. Michael Jackson had discovered something: financial records, secret deals, exploitation of artists, decades of systematic abuse. He was planning to expose it after the London shows. He had evidence, documents, recordings, witness, testimonies. But someone found out. The letter describes threats. Phone calls at 3 a.m., cars following him, people watching his house. Michael Jackson wrote that he had 3 choices: cancel the London tour and disappear, go public immediately and risk everything, or do the shows, expose them afterward, and hope he survived. He chose option 3, but he knew. Deep down, he wouldn't make it. That is why he visited David Chen, not to inspire a sick kid, not for publicity, to create a witness, someone who would survive. Someone who would remember. Michael Jackson told David everything that night, every name, every crime, every secret. And he made David promise, don't tell anyone until I am gone, until it is safe. The video ends with David looking directly into the camera. He says Michael Jackson didn't die of cardiac arrest. He died because he knew too much, and now you know too. The video went viral in 6 hours. 10 million views by morning, 50 million by the end of the week. News outlets tried to verify the story. They called Cedars Sinai. The hospital confirmed Michael Jackson visited on the 22nd of June, 2009. They released the security footage. 47 minutes. Michael and David talking. Michael writing something, handing David the envelope. Journalists started investigating the names in the letter. 3 executives mentioned had died under mysterious circumstances. 1 in 2011, 1 in 2015, 1 in 2019. 2 lawyers mentioned had been disbarred. 1 was currently in prison for fraud. The doctor who prescribed Michael Jackson's medication, Dr. Conrad Murray, released from prison in 2013, refused to comment. CNN did a special report, the Michael Jackson cover. Up 15 years of silence. The FBI reopened the investigation into Michael Jackson's death. New witnesses came forward. Bodyguards, studio engineers, former employees. They all said the same thing. Michael Jackson was terrified in his final weeks. He kept saying, "They're going to kill me." One bodyguard described a conversation from the 20th of June. Michael had said, "If something happens to me, it wasn't an accident. Look at the people who benefit." Another witness, a sound engineer, said Michael had been recording conversations secretly. Hours of audio hidden in a storage unit. The storage unit was found, emptied, cleaned out in July 2009, right after the funeral. Who emptied it? Nobody knows. The rental company has no records. Here is where it gets even more incredible. David Chen revealed something else. Michael Jackson didn't just give him the letter that night. He gave him a USB drive. David had kept it hidden for 15 years. Never plugged it in, too scared. But now, with lawyers and the estate protecting him, he finally opened it. The USB drive contained 43 audio files, conversations, phone calls, meetings. Michael Jackson had recorded everything. Threats from unnamed executives, discussions about canceling his tour, demands for him to sell his music catalog. One recording from the 18th of June 2009. A phone call, Michael's voice, shaking, "I won't sell. I don't care what you do to me. This catalog belongs to the artists." Another voice. Cold calm. "Then you are making a very dangerous choice, Michael." The call ends. 7 days later, Michael Jackson was dead. The recordings were handed to federal investigators. 3 weeks ago, 2 former music executives were arrested. Charges: conspiracy, extortion, witness intimidation. The case is ongoing. But the USB drive contained one more file, hidden encrypted, dated the 24th of June, 2009, one day before Michael Jackson died. The file was a video, 11 minutes long, Michael Jackson alone in his bedroom recording his final message. His face was gaunt, exhausted, scared. The video starts with him stating his full name, date, time, location, like a legal testimony. Then he says, "If you are watching this, I am already gone, and you know what happened wasn't an accident." Michael Jackson names 17 people, executives, managers, lawyers, producers. He describes meetings where they demanded he sell his Beatles catalog, worth billions. Michael refused. They threatened to destroy him, ruin his comeback, make sure the London shows never happened. Michael Jackson's response, "I'd rather die than give you what you want." And then he did die. The video shows documents, contracts with forged signatures, financial statements showing missing millions, proof of systematic theft from artists for decades. The video ends with Michael saying, "I am giving this to someone who will survive me, a child who has nothing to lose. His name is David Chen, room 447, Cedars, Sinai. If I die, find him." That video was released 2 weeks ago. 30 million views in 24 hours. Former artists started speaking up. Prince's former manager posted, "Prince told me the same thing in 2015. He said the industry kills artists who don't comply." A pattern emerged. Artists who owned their masters, artists who spoke out, artists who refused to sell Michael Jackson, Prince, Whitney Houston, George Michael. All dead before 60 Congress announced hearings. Music industry exploitation and artist safety. David Chen was called to testify. He sat in front of the committee, calm, prepared. He told them everything. The hospital visit, the letter, the USB drive. The video, he showed them the evidence. One senator asked, "Why didn't you come forward sooner?" David's answer stopped the room. "Because Michael Jackson made me promise to stay alive first," he said. "If you tell them now, they'll silence you like they're silencing me. Wait until you are strong. Wait until you have protection." "Wait until the world is ready to listen," the senator asked. "And now the world is ready," David replied. "The world has no choice. The evidence is everywhere. You can't unsee it now." The hearing lasted 6 hours. By the end, 3 major record label CEOs had resigned. 2 law firms dissolved. The music industry was in chaos. David Chen gave one final interview. 60 minutes watched by 23 million people, the interviewer asked. "Why now? Why 15 years later?" David's answer, "Because Michael told me to wait." He said, "When they think everyone's forgotten, when they think they're safe, that is when you speak. That is when the truth matters most." He paused, tears in his eyes. "Michael Jackson saved my life twice. Once in that hospital room when he gave me a reason to keep fighting, and once with this letter, because carrying his truth kept me alive when I wanted to give up. But wait, there is one more thing nobody expected." 3 days after the 60 Minutes interview, David received a package, no return address, postmarked from Switzerland, mailed in 2009. Inside was a safety deposit box key and a handwritten note. The handwriting was Michael Jackson's. The note said, "David, if you are reading this, 15 years have passed, you kept your promise. Now open box 447 at Geneva Private Banking. The combination is your birthday. Everything you need is inside. Finish what I started." MJ David flew to Switzerland the next day. He opened the box. Inside were 3 things. A backup hard drive containing every conversation Michael Jackson ever recorded, over 200 hours. A handwritten ledger showing exactly how much money was stolen from artists over 40 years. Names, amounts, dates, and a video recording of a meeting from March 2009. 6 people sitting around a table, discussing how to handle the Michael Jackson problem. One voice says, "He won't cooperate. We need a permanent solution." Another voice, "Make it look natural. Cardiac arrest, overworked, tragic, but believable." The meeting ends with an agreement. Michael Jackson would not make it to London. David handed everything to federal prosecutors. 4 more arrests were made last week. The investigation is now international. Today, the Michael Jackson Truth Foundation was established. David Chen is the director. Their mission: expose exploitation in the music industry, protect artists, finish what Michael started. On the foundation's website, there is a photo. Michael Jackson in room 447, sitting next to David. Both of them looking at the camera. Michael's hand on David's shoulder. The timestamp reads, the 22nd of June, 2009, 2:47 a.m. The caption says he knew, he told, he trusted, pass it on. If this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to know the truth. Have you ever kept a secret that heavy? Tell us in the comments, and turn on notifications because more suppressed stories are coming.